Welcome back to the Ross Hodge Show. Joining us here on the program this week is Don Robinson, the CEO of Gold and Blue Enterprises, West Virginia's in-house NIL agency. Don, really appreciate you joining us and telling us more about GBE.
Thanks. First, appreciate the invite. So GBE, Gold and Blue Enterprises, is a 501c3. So we're set up outside the athletic department, independent commercial entity. And our main focus really twofold. One, we have the rev share contracts with the players. So we work directly with the coaches and student athletes to allocate the revenue sharing that came under the House Act last year. And then the second piece is the above the cap NIL opportunities that players may have.
And with those NIL opportunities, I guess kind of give us an idea or a sense of how that all operates and how you all try to facilitate those opportunities within players and within the athletes here, and then also how you try to bring those into West Virginia University.
Absolutely. So, and you said it well, so it's really how do we facilitate? So if you have a business, that's still a way to work with student athletes to provide marketing avenues for your business. If you look at it being the only game in town, right, we're essentially the professional sports of West Virginia, no better brand and marketing avenue than a student athlete. So we work with businesses to get the best student athletes lined up with them. It can be everything from appearance fees to autograph sessions, to we've done deals with charity events. It's looking at those needs and then aligning the student athletes and really working throughout the years with the businesses.
When it comes to NIL here at West Virginia, a lot of people know the name Country Roads Trust, still around, but now GBE has kind of taken over a lot of those responsibilities. So if you would, for people, explain how those two entities are similar in how they operate and what differences there may be as well.
Yeah, certainly. So we assumed all the subscription agreements from Country Roads Trust. So if you remember Country Roads Trust, you're now a member of Gold and Blue Enterprises. And then there's certain commercial relationships that stay with CRT, but for the most part, all those operations came over. And now our main avenue and what's changed in the landscape is we can have the direct affiliation with the university. So CRT was a separate entity, was outside the university, where now we have the direct alignment.
Having a direct alignment with the university, as you just said, how have you seen that help facilitate, to use that word again, more deals, and has that made things maybe easier to navigate both from the university and the athlete side of thing, as well as businesses who are trying to get into this space?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely helped. One, we have the direct interaction with the coaches, so we spend a lot of time with the coaches and players just to get to know who they are. So one area of focus we haven't hit on is there's so many great stories with our student athletes that aren't out in the market now. So how do we get those stories out? So being able to work with the students on a day in, day out basis really helps. And then the branding aspect, being able to work with our biggest donors that have the licensing right to the West Virginia brand's a big factor as well that didn't exist when it was outside the entity.
And I think a big thing for fans to remember as well is that Gold and Blue Enterprises, Country Roads Trust, it's not just for football, men's basketball, women's basketball, student athletes. It's all sports that you guys are trying to help, right?
Absolutely. Great points. All sports. We work with all sports across the board. So, whether it be rifling, soccer, as you mentioned, both basketballs, golf, whoever it may be, we can help facilitate those deals.
Since the House settlement came down earlier this year, which allowed universities to distribute up to roughly $20.5 million across the board to its student athletes this academic calendar year, how have you and Gold and Blue Enterprises helped West Virginia manage those funds, and also especially when it relates to football? I know you're talking with Chuck Lilly, their general manager, and how are you all operating in that scheme?
Yeah, so we work directly with the coaches. Chuck's a great example for football. I was there till the early hours or late night, however you want to look at it, on signing day, helping draft the contracts, tracking the where we are from a cap perspective. Rob Alsop, within the athletic department, works directly with us as well. So we help facilitate that piece and make sure we're staying in line, and then just having the conversations as well. So we know this is how the contracts are lined up, where we want to change them, what have we learned over time. So that direct impact is critical.
You mentioned signing day right there. I did want to ask you, can you give us a little bit of insight into some of those conversations you maybe have had, or just how that operates with athletes who are not yet on campus but want to get to WVU?
Yeah, so there's two aspects of it, right? The first piece is the rev share and the contract. So during the season, leading right up to signing day, we spent a lot of time looking at the contracts, what's the best scenarios. We brought in some consultants to help and help draft those on signing day. So one of the competitive advantages, we want to make sure that the student athletes see the contract and we get them in front. And then we can compare that to what other schools are doing as well. So we had a direct involvement there. And then from time to time, there's questions just how does NIL work? And, a parent, an agent, a player wants to know the process there. our involvement really starts when they get on campus, on that side, but we want to be a resource for the students and the coaches as well.
As you look around the country, really in the last 6 months or so, since Golden Blue Enterprises was created, you took over and the House settlement came down, how are you seeing the NIL landscape shift, and what are you seeing other universities do that may be similar, maybe different to what GB is doing?
Yeah, I think it's one of the great things about it, there's no playbook right now. It's so brand new. When you rewound last summer, we thought schools that could meet the full rev share would be a competitive advantage. The reality is pretty much everyone's there, so now it's the above cap NIL deals that are critical. And then it's looking at new revenue sources. So one of the big things that we've been focused on, you probably saw announcements on, is we're looking at business partnerships. So if you think about our fan base, there's two things we know. The brand's unbelievable. President Benson and Ren talk about going around the state and you see the flying WB everywhere. The other side is the loyalty factor, right? We got an unbelievably loyal fan base. So what we're looking at doing is those revenue sources where we can connect businesses to our fans and really either save our fans money or make them money, and then we get a fee share back. So this week alone, we announced the launch of Mountaineer Travel, so discount travel for our fans, and then we announced a deal with Omaha Steaks as well. So those type of everyday opportunities that exist is what we're trying to bring to the fan base as well.
In the Omaha Steaks deal, tastes great, right? Tastes great, but helps get a product that obviously Mountaineer fans are going to love to Mountaineer fans, helping a West Virginia athlete. The travel one's really interesting to me. You all just announced that recently. Explain that one, if you would, Mountaineer Travel.
Yeah, so Mountaineer Travel, think about it, it's a competitor to like an Expedia, so it's a discounted travel piece. Again, it's something that people use every day, right? So if you're going out, why not book through our travel site? And then we get a rev share off the travel bookings. So we partied with a third-party vendor to create the white label of Mountaineer Travel, and it's been successful. The first week, we saw over 500 people sign up as members. Not that many users, but the activation's been very strong.
Any limits, I guess, on where people can travel within Mountaineer Travel?
No. It's a competitive site, so if you're going anywhere and any hotel booking, amusement parks, etc., we'll look to add to the site as we go, but right now it's really focused on those two areas.
Last one here with you, Don. The future for GB, what does that look like, maybe just say in the near future, next couple months, what's coming down the pike here?
Yeah, so we're going to look to expand our sales staff. We're going to look to expand our social media and creative presence. I talked a lot about getting the stories out for players. So, signing day, bringing 48 plus new players on board, plus we got the portal coming up. Right. You're going to look at a lot of activation there of how we get the story out. And then the additional revenue opportunities. I mean, we are looking at deals every day to think differently, think bigger. You hear a lot about the size of state and population. It's getting people to think beyond our borders. Again, it's the deals that we just talked about, Mountaineer Travel, our partner's based in Utah. My Camp, our credit card processor, we signed a deal with, they're based in Scottsdale. And we have people supporting us all around the country, so we're going to continue to look at those opportunities.
Don, we appreciate your time and your insight. Thanks for joining us here this week. There he is, Don Robinson, the CEO of Golden Blue Enterprises, here, the in-house NIL agency for WVU Athletics. Make sure to stay with us here on the Ross Hodge Show.
The Ross Hodge Show is presented by Little General Stores. Great prices, convenient places.